Happy New Year, everyone, fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, welcome. I'm here to talk about AI, something that I use almost constantly. In the title, I refer to Slop. Slop is, as you may know, poor quality AI content, that AI produced content that might be irrelevant, it might have the characteristics of an ad, it might just be something you don't want to see, or it just doesn't do the thing that you want it to do. Some background. I'm using AI all the time, and when we're using AI, we use what are called large language models, or LLMs. And a large language model is essentially something that predicts the next word that's coming. So if I were to say, what's the next, it wouldn't probably predict what's the next finger, it would predict what's the next word. I use these things all the time, and if you work at it, if you use it well, it's able to produce some really cool things. At the same time, it's prone to make mistakes, it's prone to produce things that we don't want, and those things that we don't want, we could refer to them as slop. Some people say that AI is the infinite slop machine because it's so easy to make so much crappy content with AI. It's also possible to make some really good stuff with it. So I'd like to introduce some techniques that I'm using in my career as a software engineer, and that I hope can transfer to other uses of AI. Software engineers are going through a metamorphosis of their own. And by that, I don't mean that we're waking up in the morning and finding ourselves turned into giant insects. What I mean is that the things that we do every day in our job, it's changing. We're not so much writing code by ourselves. Nevertheless, there is this core part of the job, system design, specifying systems, specifying requirements. We still have to know what the thing is that we want to build. And I think that's something that can apply to any career where you use these, something kind of analogous to a super bright but incredibly inexperienced intern to help you get your job done. In software engineering, there's a concept known as test-driven development. It's not necessarily the best way to do things, but I think it's illustrative. In test-driven development, what you do is you specify what it is that you want, and then you show that you don't have the thing that you want yet. And then you fix it. You fix that problem, the lack of having it. This cycle that you go through multiple times in a process called iteration, it's known as red, green, refactor. Red is that state of not having the thing you want. Green is the state of getting to the incremental step where you've acquired that piece of what you want. And then refactor is looking at the result and saying, is this really what I want now? Do I need to make some changes? You modify the requirements based on your evaluation of the results that you have so far. When you're doing something, or when you're having someone else do something for you, or when you're having an LLM doing something for you, it's always good to have really clear requirements, which means that it's incredibly important to have a plan and a detailed plan for what you're going to do. When I develop using AI, what I do is I have an LLM write the code, and then I have another LLM take a look at the result and review it and criticize it and find all the problems with it. Then I loop back, so it's a red-green refactor cycle, just like what I told you before. But this time, it's entirely with LLMs. So I have an LLM develop the code, an LLM reviews the code, I feed that result back, and then it refines and refactors to try to get to the result. I've been calling this technique, and it's just my own little private lexicon, I've been calling this technique adversarial loop prompting. But probably a lot of people are doing a similar thing. Today, I learned about something that will do this automatically for you. If you're using a kind of coding agent, there's a tool, a plugin, something that you can put into Claude Code, and it's called the Ralph Wiggum plugin. The reason it's called the Ralph Wiggum plugin is Ralph Wiggum is a character on the TV show The Simpsons who says, "I'm helping," when he's not really helping. What this tool does is it automates that cycle of red-green refactor. You have a solid plan, a plan that you've built up. You know exactly the steps of what you want. It goes through doing as much of that plan as it can. Then you give it to, it does the review itself. And then it evaluates. And then you get to, it doesn't stop. It doesn't let itself stop until it's done. My hope is that we can take this kind of tool and apply it to other things outside of code and get the results that we want. Thank you.